That's fucked. Holy shit.
Oh my god, there's so many of them. Oh, there it is! Fuck!
I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, "Oh, I killed a cow out back, baby." You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get my hands around your throat.
Good morning, my beauties and bees. I want to show you all something really quick, really cool. Cryptic corner. Oh yeah, it's a Mothman. Ah. So, um, yeah, cryptic corner right across my boobs. Do you want cryptic corner across your boobs? Because you can go get a shirt that'll put cryptic corner across your boobs. Pretty cool, and you can get it with not just the Mothman on the back, but you can get the Bigfoot on the back, or the Dogman, or the Jersey Devil, all that stuff. Yeah, check it out, and you can say Cryptic Corner right across your boobs. Yes. Anyway, good morning, good morning. We are live from the Hive. It's 8:39 now. 8:39 a.m. here in the Mountain District of the U.S. And boy, it's already 76 degrees. It's going to be another hot one today. It's been up in the upper 90s every day this week so far. So it's been nice and toasty. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for popping in. I have the Tarantula Hive Psi t-shirt. I need a tank. Yeah, yay! Yeah, the tarantula one with that is Polytheria metallica. Yes, which close relative to Polytheria regalis, which are also pretty. They don't have the blue, but they have they're silver and black with yellow accents. All beautiful animals. Beautiful, beautiful spiders. Spiders are beautiful. Yes, the blue matches my hair. Rainbow Ash has blue hair confirmed. You are the ones that the chuds keep. You're the one the chuds keep going on about. You must have really pushed their buttons. Good morning, everybody. I hope it's warm where you are, or getting warmer. It's almost June now, and almost June means almost Pride Month. Do you all have Pride stuff scheduled and planned for next month? I know we're doing a big pub crawl on the 20th, across the city. It's going to be fun. We're going to be lit. Anyway, yeah. Uh, so yeah, this week we did run the polls, right? We run the polls like we do, and yeah, I'm just gonna make a polls screen. I think I'm gonna do that. That'd be cute. But in the meantime, we'll just do it. We'll do it this way. You all can see the polls. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we did the polls. And for Cryptic Corner, you guys really want aliens. You're really into aliens this time of year. I'm here for it. I love talking about aliens. So this week's poll, we had the Yeti and the urine make a return. Those are the montane hairy hominids of East Asia. Then we had the beast of Busco, which is a giant snapping turtle from Indiana. The lady in white, which is sort of I'd almost say an international phenomena of a ghostly apparition. And then we had the Plaedian aliens on here, right? The Plaedian aliens won by a landslide. More than half you all wanted to see this, which is awesome, like I said, which is cool, but it gets really awkward when I get into what we're talking about in our Week in Weird. And it is we also vote overwhelmingly for the alien story. So we're going to make a mesh, though. It's going to be all right. So on the polls, though, we have Charming the Serpent about the magical power of snake charming. Right? Knights of Tartaria are still on here. I think this is the longest anything's been on this list. We can't move on to other Tartarian topics until we talk about the knights. So it'll stay on there for now. We have the Sky Trumpets, which was a recommendation from Patty or Nancy, one of the apostate sisters, when we were hanging out, talking about cryptids, which, by the way, premiered yesterday. If you didn't see that, but it was on the poll too. It came pretty dang close to winning this week. So Sky Trumpets is on there, and then the winner was the Space Wars, which I have decidedly retitled. Or no, I guess I never did get retitled, but it's going to be mostly about this solar. What do they call it? Something solar. Hold on. Yeah, the solar wardens and their mission to protect the perimeters of planet Earth. But that's all coming up later in the show. Before we do anything, we got to get through this Cryptic Corner Plaedians, and there's a lot to say about Plaedians, so yeah, hang in there with me. All right, but we're come vote. This week we didn't actually get as many votes as we did the previous week. We only got 20 votes on the weird and 18 votes on the Cryptic Corner poll. So you could just you alone, or you and your stock accounts, could sway these entire polls to your liking, just with your vote. Without right now, because it's the if you look, usually we got, or not usually, but we've been getting closer to 30 votes on these aren't even those polls. Hold on. Yeah, previous weeks we've had bigger voter turnout and things. This didn't even run tight either. The weekly weird is always kind of a landslide. It seems like y'all know what you want to see. Yeah, I'm glad you love the weird. I love the weird too. Good morning, everybody. It's kind of dark in here. Maybe I'll brighten up. But it needs to be. Uh-oh. That's the alarm that says it's time for Cryptic Corner. That's what that alarm means. I switched back over to the original intro for that for now because the song I was using got flagged, and I want to edit it a little bit anyway. I didn't really like it as much as I thought I did when I was first messing with it. But we're gonna do the original Cryptic Corner intro. It's fine, and I'll see you guys over there. Okay. Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumble Bree, and today we are going into the far reaches of space because every now and then I'll throw onto the poll just one of these alien race from the extraterrestrial channeling communities, right? And kind of feel that out. You know, I've done insectoids and of course the classic gray aliens and such, but the other one that always pops up, like it's pretty prominent, is the Nordic aliens, which are also known as the Plaedians. And I kind of wanted to see if we could explore them a little bit because to me they remind me of elves, but like from like Lord of the Rings elves. But we'll see. So I found a channel that takes this stuff super serial, Astral Legends TV. Yeah, and they have write-ups on all the alien races, so we might revisit this. We might learn about the Lyrans, which look like lion people. We might learn about the Anunnaki or the Atlanteans. Tower of Babel unveiled. Look, they got some religious stuff in here too. If you go to the video section, it's like all the different races and stuff from all across the stars. The Cardians, which look like bird people. We got Imyrna, whatever that is. Yeah, it's pretty out there. There's a lot going on here, a lot to absorb. Didn't she used to work at Jabba the Hutt's palace? I'm pretty sure she did. Yeah. And look, it's Smeagol's cousin, Sasani. Hi, Sasani. That doesn't look like a gray alien to me. This one looks like Val Kilmer. Anyway, but with all these guys looking so freaky, right? It's often easy to forget that the Plaedians actually look like blonde white people. The Plaedians look like me. I don't look like a Pleiadian. I'm not pretty enough. You have to have like sharp features, tiny features, and giant eyes, and I don't have any of that. I have squinty eyes most of the time, especially when I'm stoned, which is like all the time. And I have a big mouth and a big nose. So no, I'm not a Plaedian. Not a Plaedian. Don't have the features for it. But You'll see. You'll see what what comes down to when we talk about the Plaedians now. Tell me how the audio is on this, because
Did you know the Pleiades, which is situated 440,000 light-years from Earth, is a vibrant stellar cluster, commonly known as the Seven Sisters throughout the universe, colonized by humanoid refugees from the Mansi system near Vega, who have interacted and visited Earthlings on Earth. These ancient astronaut settlers arrived in colossal arcs, away from the Orion-Lyran wars, millions of years ago in the fifth dimension, and their specific race represent 3 of the original 4 Pleiadian racial groups. Ahel.
wow, look at this cyborg bra. Do you want cyborg clothes? Look, you even have like little lights, like that isn't even a light, it's just like reflectors that match your hair though. Do you have to have the reflectors to match your hair, or can you mix them in?
Noor and Tal. Their mission was to terraform the first 3 planets of 10, as the others were unfit for life. The system's desolation kept it hidden from the reptilian Chiakar Empire, making it an unattractive target. Advancing rapidly in interdimensional travel,
There's so much lore buried here, I don't know how we're going to keep up.
they ascended to the 5th density for protection, starting anew, free from centralized control. The Pleiadians
5th density? What the hell? What does that even mean?
are often depicted as tall, elegant beings, standing between 7 to 9 feet tall. They typically have fair, pale complexions, though some exhibit green or blue skin tones. Their hair commonly ranges from long straight blonde to silver white, and their facial features bear resemblance to both Nordic people and Asiatic indigenous Earth natives. Legend has it that they traverse galaxies aboard ships of light, embodying a mysterious and advanced civilization. Many in the past and present consider them as ambassadors of enlightenment.
This is super corny, huh? Is this corny enough for you guys? So these are actually the second most popular aliens that people experience in sleep paralysis after the gray aliens and the gray alien subspecies or whatever, because there's different kinds of gray aliens or Zeta Reptilians or whatever you want to call them. The gray guys with the big eyes. Sometimes they're gray, sometimes they're not gray.
Attuned to the universe's symphony. They have relationships and many
Morning,
intermarriages with other races from other planets. Throughout history, they've been intertwined with human consciousness, mentioned in ancient stories and revered as guides of spiritual growth. Many have communicated with them through mystical channels, receiving teachings beyond mortal understanding. Their technology is said to be incredibly advanced over 1,000 years ahead, hints at a comprehension of existence beyond our grasp. Legends.
Yeah, Henry's playing in the park while we dive into different alien races. Yeah, puppy. We have a puppy at the house, Henry. He's 3 months old. He's some kind of shepherd mix, but I think he's got a little husky in him because he's very talkative. He loves to talk. So that's why Ben's like, oh, you know what? We're going to go talk in the park instead of talking in the yard. Well, Bree does her stream. Thank you, Ben.
Tell of their influence on human history, subtly shaping events alongside earthly civilizations. In the pursuit of enlightenment, many of the various races of Pleiadians are seen as symbols of hope, urging individuals to rise above the mundane and embrace cosmic consciousness. In the Pleiadian havens known as the Seven Sisters, each planet governs itself. Ahel and Ta'ali.
He knows, native atheist. He knows. Yeah. They're lost. Absolutely.
Planets have royal councils, while the Nuri operate through an assembly. They named their cluster Manahai, symbolizing their ambition to start afresh, reminiscent of their original world Mana from Liran. Technologically, they're millennia ahead, accessing antimatter dimensions, or what they term the antiverse. One faction settled around Alcyone, separate from those in Taigeta due to disputes over planetary choices. Ta'ali dissenters favored Error over Temer, designated for Ahel, leading to their relocation.
See, there's so many names and so much lore here. How do we even get started on trying to crack into this? Leading to their, like, Tali dissenters favored Era over Timur, designated for a hill, leading to their relocation. What the fuck? There's so much lore here. So much to piece together. I just want to know how they relate to what was the ones that we watched before with there was like dragon people and there were janitors. There were janitors, remember? The janitors, and then there was that Tartaria? That was beyond the ice wall, wasn't it? There were the Anunnaki, and then they were fighting the janitors. I want to know how these people fit into that. Yeah.
Exposed to dominant galactic forces, they formed alliances with the Orion and Altair groups out of necessity. But not all Plaedians are benevolent. The Tal Shiar aimed for dominion in Talihara, but faced resistance from Orion and Kiakaha empires, tarnishing their...
Of course they did. The Kiakaha Empire is sort of like that. They have a history of being resisting. They have a resisting history.
Reputation. Erahel, in the Taigeta system, stands as a beacon of peace and knowledge. Housing civilization's archives, it supports diverse life across 5 climatic zones. Despite the distance, travel...
5 climatic zones? Is it like on the planet? I think we cover more than 5 climatic zones with human civilization. Or are you talking like interplanetary climatic zones?
Travel from Erahel to Earth takes 14,000 hours, or just 4 hours with warp speed.
Yeah, just 4 hours with warp speed. The warp speed's the important feature.
Predominantly, Erahel played a crucial role in humanity's genetic history, aiding Anunnaki in early Earth experiments. Era is a warm and temperate planet sustaining a wide variety of life forms and biozones. The planets are mainly silicate. They imported many vegetal and animal species from...
Vegetal? Did you say vegetal? It does say vegetal. You can see it on your screen. Is that supposed to be vegetable? Maybe I'm the one that's stupid. Maybe vegetal is a proper word. I didn't know it was, but let me look it up. Vegetal. Okay, relating to plants. Okay, I'll allow it. I never heard it used in that vegetal and animal kind of animal, vegetable, and mineral is what I'm used to hearing.
Their homeworld Maya, recreating a natural biohabitat with 5 climates.
Sorry to judge your grammar, AI guy. You were ahead of me. Your access to the database. The world Maya, is Maya even here? Does Maya even know she has her own world? Guess she's gonna be the goddess of something, but the video is louder than you, or vice versa.
Tropical, tepid, temperate, glacial,
like
and polar. They have seasons, rain and snow, luxuriant forests, deep valleys, stunning coastlines, and numerous high mountain ranges. It is a magnificent world. Turquoise blue skies can be seen from space, with 7 moons laying across the horizons. This world is populated by the Arhel colony, a pale-skinned, grey-skinned, and fair-skinned, blue-eyed, blonde, white, or dark brown-haired race from Maya, indistinguishable from Nordic Earthlings. They are
except for that they're 7 to 9 feet tall, you said earlier. So I think that's pretty distinguishing from, like, people on Earth can get over 7 feet tall, but it's definitely not like a average or normal thing.
Spiritual race, cultivating arts, serving attainment, inner peace, and spiritual ascension, such as Ethereum.
Oh yeah, this is all AI. The art's AI, the video clips are AI, the voice is AI. You know.
Music, dance, visuals, and lovemaking. Something very particular to the Ahel because of its natural photosensitivity, adapted by their planet Asha'ara, as well as genetic heritage, is their skin being exceptionally sensitive to sensual touch. The Plaedians distinguish, in the act of love, reproductive function from transfiguration of consciousness. Many of their
They have sexy skin where if you touch them, you can make them come. That's pretty awesome. Like, ah, ah. I don't know. I guess that's what that means. That they're hypersensitive. But doesn't it, you have hypersensitive nerve endings? I don't know if I'd want that. At least not like all over my body.
advanced floating sky cities are in the skies of Asha'ara, shimmering like glowing crystal white cities with large land masses of green nature. Flying birds and extravagant architecture reminiscent of futuristic Greek cities. There is a part in their brain that activates puberty, and they can switch it on at will to stimulate the epidermis receptor cells. Regarding entwined soul ascension, all aspects of the being are enthused. The physical.
Did they just say that they can like flip on their puberty whenever? Like they have a switch, a puberty switch?
Symbolized by the skin and the internal, which is the genital connexon. The mental emotional aspect of love and spiritual energy of vibrational elevation in frequency. These three aspects combined allow them to reach higher realms of pure connection with mother and father consciousness, transcending densities as high as the 13th density source.
It's important to transcend densities. Hello, good morning, right-handed Sith. What densities do you transcend? The 13th seems a little bit excessive. If I could just get to like the second, third, maybe even the fourth density, I think I'd be all right.
In this attained state of bliss, they are only pure disembodied, universal, and omnipresent infinite consciousness. Concerning procreation, Plaedians choose to perform it at the same moment or not, knowing that combining both is a very special moment in one's life, when the highest realms of ecstasy are embraced, the ultimate condition to ignite an impulse for the binding of a soul into a new incarnation.
Ooh, thank you, Captive Desk. Let's see, received a gift membership by Captive Desk. We got Sophia of Athens, Scott Owens, Holy Spackle, Sam Plays, and Farin Salas. Yay! Enjoy your gift memberships. Welcome to the Hive. Go ahead and stomp across there with your Bigfoot feet. Do I have a Dr. Ben promo thing? I don't know. Hold on. Commands. If I did, it would be Ben. I don't think I do though. No, don't got a link for Ben stuff, but I should get one, definitely.
For reasons of practicality, they have also developed the option of artificial conception in life pods, but they usually choose the natural way.
That's the Enterprise? Is that supposed to be a Plaedian ship? Because that's just the Enterprise. Like, badly rendered, like, with its parts all out of whack, but it's the parts for the Enterprise. I mean, right? I'm seeing this right. It's just they've taken the whatever the thruster or whatever is that goes on the other side over there and taken it off of the other thruster and stuck it up in the air because AI is stupid. But it's just reorganizing the Enterprise. I'm pretty confident.
Education, there are schools of specification. Each new child's abilities are identified and enticed to develop at their possibilities in order for the being to achieve their mission and
That is upside down Enterprise. Upside down Enterprise. Since the Plaedian ships are just upside down USS Enterprise. So, or US Enterprise.
Aspirations. Most youngsters are regrouped into specific schools of learning regarding their common talents. Their favorite leisure is to spend time outdoors, as well as gather for social entertainments such as games or artistic activities,
You're just describing human children.
Including concerts. Plaedians are not into competitive sports like Earthlings. They believe that the best way to...
Maybe I am a Pleiadian, because I don't really care about sports much either. Competitive sports. Good morning, my unfinished journey. Well, a general constitution class starship at any rate, and those are warp nacelles. Okay.
Attain improvement is through personal development and not by competitive comparison. We have a vegetal alimentation. The race,
Spending time outdoors in space. Yeah, but it's a vegetal space. They've created vegetal space. It's all vegetal.
a hell, is based on an organic life form, but there is an upper class called the Elders, who choose not to incarnate because they passed a certain level of.
Maybe you're a reptilian. What are the or maybe you're an Anunnaki, Joshua Davidson. Have you ever considered that maybe you're Anunnaki? I'm pretty confident that I'm a Plaedian, right? Got the whole Plaedian thing going on. Ooh, ooh. Ah, damn, I'm so happy with the way my body's developed. Sorry to be weird about it, but at least you like me. So last few months have really changed things. But I know maybe it's me being a Palladian too, or a Nordic. Yeah.
Evolution. It is said the Elders can wander out of their body at will and return to it, being forever linked. They ingest vegetal ailments, primordial components, and energized water. The energized water is drunk when traveling to allow their body.
Is the energized water vegetal? I didn't know vegetal was going to become such an important word for this TED Talk. Have you ever covered the tall whites? The lore is crazy. Which I need to make a playlist of the ones I've covered so they can all go together. But as far as aliens that I've covered, I know I've done insectoids. I did insectoids not that long ago, actually. Yeah, I was at Invasion of the Mantis Men, so that was 178. That was just in March. But when it comes to gray aliens, let me see here. We're gonna look at the Cryptic Corner playlist real quick. Take a quick step away from here, and we're gonna pull that up. No, I didn't want to edit it. I just wanted to open it. There we go. All right, so this is the Cryptic Corner playlist, and we'll go through and see what we've covered so far. It's kind of out of order, but we'll work with what we got. Oh, I didn't mean to move that. Yeah, there's the Peruvian face peelers. Remember those? But we have, what, Ada's an alien, which is that little alien mummy thing. Let's see, Midwest Fireball, Hawaiian UFO, Black Triangles, of course. EBE, that's the one that does the interview about the fate of humans. Atmospheric jellyfish are kind of alien, but not really. Let's see. Any other alien stories? Humanoid Encounter, episode 2. That's way, way throwback. You'll see me with a beard if you watch that episode. Yeah, Nightcrawler's like the Fresno Nightcrawler right there. Michigan UFO, that was topical at the time that episode was airing. I wish these were in order. It's kind of annoying that the playlist stays them all wonky like this. I think it just stays them like in the order of the favorites. I could probably reorganize it somehow, but yeah, there's the Invasion of the Mantis Men. That's the one I was talking about. Let's see. A lot of weird stuff. Remember the Dark Furby episode? That was fun. It's been a while since I've done any Dark Furby. The Titan Trees, too. That was a crazy episode. But when it comes to alien topics, I do like to cover the different races that they have. You know, Greys or Anunnaki, whatever the hell the janitors are supposed to be. We had some alien implants too. Remember that? What else? I'm looking for a certain group of them. Underground Kingdom of the Grand Canyon. Before I split up weird with it, or Weekend Weird. That's probably where that would go now if I did that episode. Yeah, there was a UFO sightings. Was the Michigan? There's a UFO crash in Vegas. We do a lot of UFO coverage. I do like UFOs, and you'll see that if you stick around, because sometimes I don't shut up about them. We also have interdimensional beings that we talk about, like machine elves. You got to watch out for those machine elves. You never know what they're gonna do. It's Slender Man, Peruvian face peelers, which we mentioned earlier. Got some Atlantis stuff, so I know a lot of people are into Lost Civilization, so that's in there. There's the black goo alien, could be. Yeah, so that's what we have out there.
To shift at will while not having to deal with food evacuation. Pleiadians have the choice for solid meal when not performing space travels. The major rule they live by is ingesting food.
Good morning, my unfinished journey. Hail Hive Science, hail Bree, becoming her best self. Well, thank you. Please excuse my tardiness. I was capitalizing off MAGA ignorance. That'll happen, John. Yeah. Bree and Brentley. Bree Bress. I don't want to drop names, but it rhymes with Dentley. Is that what's happened? Is that where everybody's at? Is everybody over at Brentley's this morning?
Food that has no heart and no face. Otherwise, eating blood life forms lowers down the vibrational frequency. Pleiadians believe they are not space relatives to humans on Earth. The only difference is they were born somewhere else. They are not guardians of the planet, not like the Galactic Federation of Worlds or Council of Five. They are not gods, or what legends may know them as angels. Many Pleiadians have left messages on Earth that they do not and should not be worshipped. They promote spiritual evolution, but are liberating.
They say that, but I think it's an individual's choice, and if you all want to worship me, well, then worship me. That's fine. But I'm not I can't save you or anything like that. I'm not that kind of benevolent goddess. I'm just like, yes, you're all good.
Fighters when necessary, and most fight wars on many planets under the Federation of Worlds. They wish that Earthlings will be able to join the Federation of Worlds one day when they stop looking at each other as inferior, just like many races more advanced than them.
Morning, PC.
Currently, they all had to start from primitive mindsets to more evolved mindsets. Pleiadian views on life are that all life is immortal, that the soul is eternal.
July is sort of the alien month, and since I don't have a video on gray aliens, which I thought I did, maybe I need to make them a priority at some point, maybe for July, because that's like, Roswell and all that, and we haven't ever done that. Oh yeah, I guess I did have Roswell videos too. So Roswell, the second crash site. I did that video in August of 2023.
Because all life forms are a fractal of Source. Each being is made of a substance that is part of the creator of all, known as the Source. Source will never die because Source was never born. The Source is the great force that is love. Other than this view, they have no gods or idols like Earthlings.
The Source sort of sounds like the Force, doesn't it? The source, the force, of course. I got a call from a person on restoring a table. When I pulled in the drive, I saw a MAGA sticker on their car, so I doubled the bid. Then he told me he needed it back by Monday. That's an extra 250. You gotta do business.
An Arahel scientist named Thor was sent by the GFW on Earth with the US government back.
Ooh, it's Valiant Thor, guys. Valiant Thor's a Plaedian? Is that new lore? Because we just covered. I haven't even cut the Valiant Thor episode yet. We just covered that. When was that? Valiant Thor. When were ya? It's not been that long ago. Spring Hill Jack. Yeah, it was just April 26th, so about a month ago we talked about Valiant Thor. Here he is again.
In the 1940s to advance their knowledge on hyperspace travel. This extraterrestrial can be found in many recently released government documents, where it is stated that many live on the planet Earthlings called Venus, and many of these beings visit Earth like a vacation, including himself. When he came in contact with the US government, he was indistinguishable from the common man except for his outfit that was made out of non-Earth elements. His goal was to speed up the advancement of humans before the anew growing threat.
Anybody remember the My Favorite Martian movie with Christopher Lloyd, where he had the talking suit that is voiced by Wayne Knight? If you don't know who Wayne Knight is, he's the big guy who gets eaten by the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park. Yeah, anyway.
Threat of the Siakar Empire. Unfortunately, the US representatives and many foreign nations denied assistance from the Federation of Worlds. When they were contacted in 1954, they fell to the habitual con of the empire. The US President Eisenhower was warned about different life forms visiting Earth, some being pleasant and others not at all. So, some being pleasant is going to be blonde European-looking people, and then not pleasant is going to be this alien dude. What if it was the other way around? What if this was the pleasant guy, and the Plaedians were the villains? I think that makes a more engrossing story, right? They would have agreed for help. They would deactivate all weapons and would...
Sapphire, where do these non-Earth elements fit on the periodic table? They get their own periodic table.
Would end all wars, which would cultivate spiritual evolution and the joining with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Plaedians have an active program in assistance of the elevation of consciousness, assisting in finding freedom from the oppressive servitude of the Siakar Empire and the Orion and Altair groups, who are the Plaedians that supported the Nazi.
Yes, they're Mormons. They're super nice, but they're a little wackadoo. Space Mormons.
Party. As such, they entice awareness opening through education, information, and channelings with spiritual mediums working through the high frequencies of the energy grid.
So you can channel Plaedians. Like, channeling is kind of my new, because that's what people lean to when you back them into a corner about evidence for any of this stuff. They're like, oh, it's channeled. Even when it comes to Bigfoot and stuff, they're like, oh, no, I mean, I can't physically get them to come here. I channel them. I go into the woods and channel them. It's like, okay. You go in the woods and you pretend you're talking to Bigfoot inside your head. I get it. Or you convince yourself you're talking to Bigfoot inside your head. Whichever. Since there's no way to test it, those are indistinguishable.
Are also a part of the Envoy program that involves incarnating into Earth bodies to perform groundwork more efficiently. This program on Earth is known as star seeds. Most cargo ships are made for long space travel and have cylindrical...
Ooh, star seeds. Maybe I'm a star seed. That's what I'm doing here. I think so. I think I'm a star seed. That makes sense.
Shapes. The patrol ships are smaller and discoidal. The fleet decades have a more oblong profile. The third planet of the Asha'aru system is Timar, which is a smaller world than Era, but the administrative central for the Ashara system. Temperate and also luxuriant with nature, Timar is more populated proportionally than Era. The Timahu are the Tal colony from Omankera.
What is it? Oh, hold on. What was she wearing? What the fuck was...
The Timahu are the Tal.
The Timahu, like, they just getting their spaceships bare ass, I guess. That's amazing. But they got her titty restraint and keep them titties from floating around in zero gravity. You don't want to be all distracted by floating titties when you're trying to shoot spaceships from... Apparently she's shooting out a closed window. I don't know. Maybe it's one-way glass. Like, literally the bullets can only go one way through and stuff can't get back through. I don't know how this works. But she's opening fire within the confines of her pod. But you do you, girl.
Colony from Omankera. The complete Tal royal family who used to reign over the man races had escaped, as we know, to the Orion district and vanished into oblivion. Hence, a new government was formed on Timar from the union of a female royal descendant and a military hero. The Tali are cousins of the Ahil, with some differences, for instance, their alimentation. They are therefore more to elevate their frequency into higher densities.
How is your frequency? How dense is your frequency, Hive? On a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to put it in the side chat here, just how dense your frequency is. Like today, how dense your frequency is. I'll start, because mine's at like a 7. There you go. Let me know how dense your frequency is.
They are therefore more vulnerable to lower frequency races such as reptilians and greys. This is why they...
Lower frequency races. Are we a low frequency race or a high frequency race?
Only choose to work in the background,
Good morning,
especially
Brad.
in the military operations on Earth. Also, their spirituality is not based on sensitivity and sensuality like that.
Damn, Aunt Jur. Aunt Jur's vibrating. She just vibrates higher than the rest of us. That's the only thing that we can take away from that. Aunt Jur's vibrate. I'm surprised we can even see Aunt Jur, how much she vibrates. Captive Desk is at an 8. Clockwork Wax is at 100. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's insane. I understand if you put enough butter, it tastes just like lobster. Is that true, Captive Desk? What are we eating? Anunnaki?
Their cousins Ahil, but on ascetic methods which gives off the impression of coldness. Timari are involved with the Galactic Federation. They do visit Earth currently, but have not established a distinct colony. Their ships are discoidal.
So who has established a colony on Earth? Which races have done that? Are there Plaedian races on Earth? Are they the ones that live down in Antarctica that Admiral Byrd ran into? That helped him change his tire or whatever?
Very similar to the Ahel ships. All three races, Nor, Ahel, and Ta'al, share in the Ashara system.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Bigfoot does not taste like lobster. It tastes like wild boar. Yeah. Tastes like crispy bacon. Yeah, Bigfoot bacon is the best bacon.
The same technology and engineering.
Oh, happy birthday, Native Atheist. Tomorrow is my birthday. I've, shoebill storks. Hint, hint. You want somebody to get you a shoebill stork? If you'd asked before, I might have even covered shoebill storks on Brief Bestiary, but today we're doing condors. All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Native Atheist. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dog.
The fifth planet of the Asha'aru, known as the Alkorat, meaning the serene place, is inhabited by the descendants of Nor colonies. The Nori are of the same genetic root as the Ahil, but present some physiological differences. Notably, their heights can reach up to 8 feet. The Alkori live long as the Ahil Antali, that is to say, between 500 to 700,000 years.
So they are like elves, even in that matter. I mean, elves are immortal, but like, I was there, Gandalf, 3,000 years ago.
But a genetic alteration occurred due to the successive changes of habit conditions. The Nuri people like to travel. This unfortunate alteration is such that their internal organs fail as they not grow as fast. Their body envelops. In general, the heart fails. Members of the
they get drenched. Their heart grows, or their heart shrinks, and it doesn't allow enough to pump their blood because it's 3 sizes too small.
GFW, as all Ash'ari, are Nur Plaedians.
All they have to do is sing that Bahu Borid song, and then they can have it grow and keep up with their body.
And they are involved in earth affairs. They established colonies in ancient times in Norway. They were also known in legends as the Red Hair Giants, alongside the Pukshita.
Oh my gosh, the red-haired giants keep coming back up. They keep coming back into my life. So, listen, the red-haired giant lore is based on frontier newspaper stories, so sensationalized newspaper accounts trying to sell papers. And there is a thread of truth that runs through the red-headed aspect of this, because when mammals die, the hair starts to break down, it turns red. That's why when we find remains of people in caves, they always are ginger. I mean, weren't really ginger in life, but they are now. Or like even animals, like when you find a mammoth or a woolly rhinoceros, their hair is always that orangey red color. It doesn't mean it was that color in life. That's just what color they turn as they age, as the hairs break down. You can even see this with like horsehair plaster. The hair that's in the walls is always, well, depending on how long it's been in there. Generally, it's going to be orange by now, though.
Races. The Dakuhu reside on the 10th planet, Dakurat, meaning the place of the Guardians of Peace. This is the 4th Ash'ari race, born from a unique evolution of the Nur from Al-Khorat. They are those who Earthlings call Plaedians of light. They are the highest level of evolution in the man race, and they dwell in the 9th density of existence on a world they transformed alongside with their elevation. It is believed that this extraordinary development into light beings...
Now that looks like a Tartarian knight right there. Where were the Tartarian knights while these aliens were visiting us is what I want to know, because they're supposed to protect us. So the Knights of Tartaria are like sort of the Avengers of Tartaria. So where they were when all these different alien races were visiting Earth and influencing our development, I don't know. They were supposed to be protecting us with their Tartarian powers.
Is due to the nature of Dakurat, an outward planet of the Ash'ari system, whose structure is crystalline and interacting molecularly with the plasmic field.
I really like that art, though. Hold on, go back.
Whose structure is crystalline.
This one right here. I love the. It's like a Leonardo's. What's that called? With the man, where he's got his arms, but with fairy wings instead. What is that called? It's gonna drive me crazy. There's a name for that art piece.
Line and interacting molecularly with the plasmic field of the cluster.
Tartarian nights, like Tartarian days.
Surpassing the restricted possibilities of the altered Nuri genetics, this colony transfigured their bodies into translucent ethereal envelopes, allowing...
How do you do that? Does it cost, like... Is it obviously probably be cheaper to get done in Mexico? I've been thinking about getting a nose job in Mexico. Maybe I can get myself altered into or transfigured into a translucent ethereal envelope. Would you all like me if I was a translucent? I mean, I'm gonna run a poll on that. Actually, we're gonna find out where the Hive stands. Should I transfigure into a translucent. I feel like there's trans in here twice because I'm transfiguring into a translucent ethereal envelope. And there's only going to be two options you have to pick. So you have to say yes or no. You don't get to dilly-dally about it.
This colony transfigured their bodies into translucent ethereal envelopes, allowing their life space to reach incredible records. They leave when they wish, when they feel they have served their time serving the source and wish to merge back again with it. They then regenerate and come back in a new existence for a new mission. The Sakuri are wise and very powerful, and they are part of the Federation of Worlds. They have tri-dimensional ethereal ships.
But they are envelopes. Let's not parse hairs about it. At this point in time, they are envelopes. They are not beings anymore.
Powered by geometrical resonance energy, often seen as lozenges or faceted prisms. Following the Orion Wars, conflicts erupted in the Pleiades and on the once thriving planet Maldek, situated between Venus and Mars. Initially inhabited by peaceful Martians, Maldek fell victim to the hostile expansionism of the Tayakar Empire, resulting in widespread...
Frickin' Tayakar Empire. Wouldn't you know it? Always up to some kind of shenanigans. This one has 4 arms, but this one is like more of a tail than an arm. It doesn't have an elbow joint. It just slithers around. But he's a snake people, so I don't know how snake people arms should look because snakes don't have arms. People have arms. Should the arms be like a spinal column? I don't know how efficient that would be.
Genocide. The Plaedians of Erahel intervened, driving the Empire back, but the Draconians unleashed a devastating planet destroyer, laying waste to Maldek and its inhabitants.
Then there's Alderaan, which we don't even want to talk about right now.
Bid to preserve the lost souls of Maldek, including the peaceful Martians, various civilizations, including the Plaedians, utilized advanced nanotechnology and quantum mechanics to seed Earth with their essence. Ancient texts and oral traditions, notably...
Yeah, if I was translucent, you really couldn't see me. I would be like you'd see the light bending maybe a little bit.
Among Australian Aboriginal tribes, recount the intervention of another group of Pleiadian hybrids who genetically influenced the Olmecs and seeded early North American indigenous peoples.
We got some racism coming here. They're definitely from Starfleet, though. Look, just whatever branch of Starfleet. I don't know what this is. You think that they'd have some kind of hair length protocol for their helmets, but these guys got to influence the Native Americans because, you know, the Olmecs couldn't have figured shit out themselves.
Alongside the Anunnaki royal family, known as the Atlanteans, the Noori played a role in populating Scandinavia with Nordic people. Through alliances and intermarriages with the Atlanteans of Nibiru, the Pleiadians and Nazgals, established a lineage that encompassed all extraterrestrial races under the umbrella of the Anunnaki. Subsequently, many Pleiadians chose to depart Earth, while others retreated underground, particularly to the subterranean city of Agartha, in order...
The subterranean city of Agartha. You won't find that at Google Maps now, will ya?
...to safeguard their lineage's purity. This prolonged subterranean existence is said to have altered their appearance, giving their skin a green hue. For more reference...
That's just the green man from paganism, right? From like European paganism, from Northern European. He has some different names, some different... Cerdinos or Kerninos is how he's known in the UK and the old cultures that live there, the Celts and then the Britons. And, yeah.
On this topic, please purchase and read Elena Darnan's Gift from the Stars and Alien Races, and check out more references and sources in the description. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the like or dislike button to assist us in crafting more content like this in the future. Stay tuned for the next episode for more ancient mysteries with astral legends, and follow us on Instagram. You can also become a member on our Patreon at Astral Legends. May the eternal light forever guide your path. See you on the next episode.
Well, let's see here. Let's look at some of these comments, though. I have to delve into this. I have a Plaedian soul family, and I have been connected to them very intensively every second of the day and night for many years, mostly telepathic. We are here to help the planet rise. Ooh. Someone thought that was super funny. Yeah. Yes, me too. I have intense experience 9 years ago with them, and now they tell me things every day. My friends used to laugh, but now as they too are being awakened, we gather and chat about it now. And sis, my experience, I broke up with a toxic girlfriend, sold everything, and I had to quit my high-paying, stressful job and downsize my living situation. And now I live on the beach in Sydney, and life is so beautiful as I continue to hold the light of Gaia as part of our job here, love and light. How are you? How are you supporting yourself though if you're living on the beach? I mean, obviously you gotta have internet access to be able to watch these Pleiadian videos. Are you like just like laying back on the beach with your iPhone? I don't know what's going on here. Sure you have. I also have a link to the Plaedians on Wikipedia. I get information every time I click on it. That's true. You watch videos like this but still don't believe in the existence of these beings and someone can be strongly connected to them. I am mentally and physically healthy and happiest human on earth I know, certainly also because of my connection to the spiritual world. They are very loving and constantly joke. I like to laugh and they are very helpful. You will remember yourself soon. Okay. Interesting. This is a fantastic channel. I love the lore and different races in the universe. I recently had an out-of-body experience. I have been suffering from depression for many years. Having the out-of-body experience was one of the few times of pure joy I've had. On my spirit journey down the rabbit hole I go, and I'm never coming out. I love uncovering deeper truths about the stuff, find peace and healing from it. So with all that, thank you for those. I never used to believe that extraterrestrials were real until I was 17 at my big house party late September in 2012, Vic, Australia, and was sitting on the couch around 1 a.m. A couple of people were passed out. One guy was asleep on the couch I was sitting on. Another girl was asleep on the couch in the lounge room. I was smoking a few cones because I hated alcohol when I was that age. So he was stoned. It was just me awake in the lounge room. Everyone else was in the garage, backyard, or the kitchen. I heard scuffling from the front door and thought it was weird. About 2 to 3 minutes later, I noticed movement at the corner of my eye. Suddenly, a tall, muscular white, around 8 foot tall, peeped around the corner and then turned the corner, hovered over to me, stopped, and stood about 10 feet away from me, just staring at me in an inquisitive way. He had no ears. White, shiny, short hair, huge blue eyes that sparkled, dressed in dark blue robes. The white had the longest chin I've ever seen. It's one of them tall whites we were talking about. I also noticed the white was hovering off the floor about 6 inches, which freaked me out. I was shit scared and tried to get up off the couch because I wanted to run far, but was physically paralyzed and in a daze. I said in my head, the fuck, who's playing tricks on me? And felt the white respond saying, you'll never be ready, in a strange language which I couldn't understand, but that's the feeling I got. Continued staring at me for about another minute and then hovered away in a dashing speed. It took a few minutes to be able to physically move again. I was in complete shock, didn't sleep for almost 2 days because of it. I don't care anymore if nobody believes me. In the first year, I tried to convince people of my real experience. I lost heaps of friends and some family because of it. I turned into a complete recluse and never felt the same since, especially mentally. Never been able to keep a girlfriend for more than a year. Once I reveal what I saw with my own eyes, they think I'm insane and leave me. I've never revealed this online, only doing it because it still eats at me, and I've had multiple dreams about the experience in the last year. It changed my life forever. So southeast all day, guy. I don't doubt for a moment that you had this experience. Um, Sounds like you were in a situation where you were taking mind altering substances. It was late at night, and you were sitting on a couch. Now, to speculate. I don't want to say, I don't want to tell you your experience, but is it possible that you fell asleep sitting on that couch and had a hypnopompic experience where you dreamt that this person came up to you and then floated away and experienced some sleep paralysis? Because this sounds like quintessential sleep paralysis to me. And the worst thing that people can do about sleep paralysis is treat you like you're crazy, because that did happen. You did see that individual, but it wasn't in the physical world. It was in a hypnopompic state. So to tell you that you're crazy or that you didn't see that thing is wrong and kind of rude, honestly. You did have that experience. You lived that interaction, right? But it does not mean that it was like external, right? So I believe you and accept your experience. I'll tell this to people who experience ghost stuff as well. And I've experienced sleep paralysis. I tell this story way too much, and my regular viewers probably get tired of it. But I've experienced that, not being able to move and having an encounter with an entity that that wasn't really there, that was only existed in my constructed dream world, which was overlaid onto the physical world, which is what sleep paralysis basically is. It's like you take a dream overlay, and because you're awake and you're looking around and you're in your actual physical room or physical space, looking at what is actually there, but you're also having like a dream overlaid on top of it with dreamlike encounters and interactions. So it's very disturbing, very disruptive. Yeah. Anyway, that's what it comes down to with a lot of these supernatural encounters and stuff, is that someone had sleep paralysis incident of some type. But anyway, almost forgot. We gotta see who the channel is. Okay, so this channel was Astral Legends TV, right? They try to tie in mythology and stuff with this alien. I don't want to call it folklore. It's almost like fake lore. That looks like Apocalypse from the X-Men movies. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna subscribe. I already got 243K subscribers, but I'm gonna subscribe because they got all the different races, and they did a nice little breakdown of it. Anyway, but you tell me what you think. Like when it comes to the Anunnaki or any of these other races in this galactic. So battlefront, or is it a secret council? I don't know. They all have different roles to play in this folklore. But you tell me what you think. Do these creatures actually exist? Are they the result of hypnopompic states? Uh, where do they come from? Where do they go? Now, where do they come from? Cotton Eye Joe. All right. Anyway, uh, thank you for sticking with us for this episode. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, live from the Hive audience. You know the drill. Don't go. We're gonna have a little intermission, right? And then we'll be back with our weekend weird, and you don't want to miss that. All right, I will see you guys in just a few minutes.
Well, this is a first.
Hey, how you doing?
I've never stopped a UFO.
I come in peace.
Me too.
All right.
This is interesting.
Huh?
I said that. Where's your driver's license?
That is.
No, it's not. You tried it. I don't know that you'd get along around here being a cattle mutilator.
Indiana daily hour.
Yeah, you wouldn't get far around here mutilating cattle.
There you go. Thank you.
And do you have your insurance for this UFO?
Yeah, it's
So do all your toggles and stuff work? All the toggles, what are they for?
oh well, they're universal. So when I go to Galactica,
Yeah.
and I have to fight the aliens from another planet.
Yeah.
Well, these here are lemurs, and
Let me step to the side of those.
they're heat sensitive.
They're heat sensitive?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty cool guy, so they shouldn't go off.
They won't, because you are cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you this back. This does not look like you. So I assume
Well,
some type of
That's
skinwalker
because
or
I have my
shapeshifter or something.
Well, yeah. See, I have my humanoid form right now.
See, I told you somebody would show up to have to see this.
You guys can get pictures if you want. Hey, how you doing?
They come in peace.
They come in peace.
Yep.
I'm an alien.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that was like light years ago.
I've got a bunch of them.
All right. So your your UFO's a little wide. Okay? And that wind's catching it, so you're going like this too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I've never, because it's 90, I built it.
Yep.
So it's 96 inches. I know DOT is 102.
Yeah, you're not too wide.
Yeah.
But as wide as it is, when that wind catches it, it pushes you, on that side of the highway and then on the shoulder.
I'll make sure that, I try to keep up with traffic, but they're
I know, that's why I'm out here.
They're breaking the law, so
They're out here trying to do warp speeding. So that's what I'm out here for. And then lo and behold, I come across a UFO.
Yeah, hey, Major
Carnell,
it's a
pleasure to meet you. I've never met anybody from
a humanoid like
a
you.
humanoid like you from where exactly are you from?
I'm not from Plaedians, so I am actually from
You're just intergalactic.
Krypton.
You're from Krypton?
Yeah, yeah, I have superheroes. I have superpowers.
Oh yeah, what are those?
X-ray vision. I got keep plasma.
I know. I felt it getting hot when you were staring at me.
I love this guy. See,
All right, there's your driver's license. Hey, well, you guys be careful, okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, my beauties and bees. Goodness gracious. Yeah, welcome back to another installment of our Week in Weird, and we are continuing the space odyssey that we started with Cryptic Corner this morning, because in Cryptic Corner we were discussing the Plaedians, which are the tall, blonde, beautiful Nordic alien people. But did you know that the U.S. actually has a elite force of protectors who defend the world from alien threats, and they're actually called the Solar Wardens. But in order to understand the Solar Wardens, the first thing we need to do is talk about Gary McKinnon. So I found a pretty decent channel to break down Gary McKinnon and the Solar Wardens. This channel hasn't put anything out in a few months, but it's called the UFO Lab. I'm going to subscribe. It doesn't have a lot of subscribers, 353 subscribers, so it's a smaller channel. But they did videos for about a year. Last one was 9 months ago, and then they stopped. I don't know what's going on with it. Hopefully they come back. I kind of like their channel. Well, let's start here. Let's start with the story of Gary. Hopefully let me know if the audio is good, okay?
It was landed Gary McKinnon in the US federal prison for 70 years. What he found started off an avalanche that uncovered bits and pieces of a secret military space program called the Solar Warden. But without getting ahead of ourselves, let's first take a look at how all of this happened. In February of 2001, McKinnon decided that he needed to know the truth behind the UFO phenomenon, and as a systems administrator, he had the tools to do so in his hands. He wrote a program to scan computers without or with very simple passwords, such as, well, passwords. He got an idea for this in 1995 when he completed his first digital breach, which was getting into Oxford University's network system. This left an imprint on young Gary as he realized that many government administrative systems didn't have passwords protecting them. This, combined with the burning desire to find out what we truly know about alien life, led him to spend 13 months digging through classified documents belonging to NASA, the US Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the DoD, which would later on turn out to be the biggest military hack of all time. This is what all of the
Yeah. Well, until Signalgate. Signalgate wasn't even a hack. They just said, "Hey, media, come in here and see our secret military plans." So
it is life, which you'll find out more about later on in this video, but what all of you probably want to know is, what did he actually find?
There's everybody. Where's everybody been this morning? Good morning, everybody. Oh, thank you about my necklace. Yeah, I've had it for a while. It's become kind of my signature piece. The little spider.
Well, at first, his search was uneventful to say the least. He came across countless staff reports, department memos, and a lot of paperwork, but then something caught his attention. It was a spreadsheet on the US Navy's computer. This spreadsheet was titled Non-Terrestrial Officers, and it contained names that didn't really appear in any of his subsequent searches. This spreadsheet contained officer transfers seen between the ships, and as you could have guessed, these ships didn't appear in any registry as well. This was proof that
they were spaceships, guys.
Gary McKinnon was looking for, but soon after finding this, he found something even better. Can you guess what that was? Well, let me help you there. He found pictures. Okay, so in the NASA's UFO cover-up video I posted last week, you can see the testimony of Donna Hare, ex-government contractor.
I guess we could cover that one too if we have time. There's 2 videos by this channel that I'm going to cover, but if we have time, we'll do the NASA cover-up video as well.
That worked at the Johnson Center, but to be specific, she worked at the infamous Building 8, and she claimed that she witnessed NASA satellite pictures that showed clear UFOs before they were airbrushed out and released to the public. You see, Gary was also aware of this testimony, and he decided to take a look for himself. What he found on one particular desktop in the Building 8 were folders titled Raw, Filtered, Processed, and Unprocessed. Gary opened the folder containing unprocessed images and he tried downloading them, but the files were too big. He decided to open up one image just to take a look, and then slowly, line by line, a picture started appearing. He waited, and when most of the image appeared, he realized that he had found what he was looking for. The image he saw had a large cylinder-shaped space.
Oh, look at that. Hold on. I think I've seen that shape before. I'll be right back. Where are you, Kazoo? I couldn't find it. I went to look. For my kazoo, but I couldn't find it. You can still hear me. Hopefully I'm not coming through on my headphone mic. That would be shitty. It'd sound like crap. No, it says USB. Okay.
Spaceship in it. He couldn't believe that he finally had proof of what he was looking for, but before he could do anything like take a screenshot, he felt that cold feeling of dread when the cursor on the screen started moving. Someone on the other end closed the image and cut the connection. That was the moment when Gary McKinnon knew he was caught. In total, he got into 97 computers, and this didn't sit well with the US government. At first, Gary was facing up to 6 months in British prison, and he didn't really mind this as he was getting a lot of public support. He was even endorsed by some of his heroes like the legendary British band Pink Floyd, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young.
Oh, yeah, I do have a pretty good mic. I've never had any complaints about this mic, other than I don't know if its connection was bad. You know, Ben, don't worry about Henry. He's fine. I don't mind having a puppy in the background yipping and yapping. My channel started with that.
And the Pretenders, just to name a few. However, this excitement didn't last too long, as this turned the US judicial system into a hornet's nest. They quickly turned up at Britain's doors with the extradition request for Gary McKinnon, in which he would face up to 70 years in the US federal prison. This harsh reaction wasn't usual at the time, as there were no strong regulations on cybersecurity in the early 2000s. His laptop was confiscated almost immediately and the battle for his freedom started. He was being destroyed in court hearings for years and things didn't look well. The only thing that saved him was his diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome that explained his obsessive personality. That's when Theresa May, the member of British Parliament, stepped in and used this as a reason to block his extradition. After a decade of fighting for his life, McKinnon was finally saved. I love talking about this topic because he's one of the most interesting people in this line of research, and he didn't really profit from any of this. And for those of you who are wondering where he is now, well, you can take a look for yourself because he's posting really random YouTube videos on his channel. This concludes Gary's story, but the fun just begins here. This incident just made people more curious about the secret military space program, and in the next video I'll tell you everything we know about the Solar Warden. Oh, and just to pique your imagination, there will be pictures in it, so subscribe and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss it. This has been the UFO Lab channel, and as always, I wish you good luck in your research, and don't forget that the truth is still out there. Thank you for staying with me until the end, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Alright, so that was kind of the background on Gary. Okay. So we are going to keep the train rolling, and we're gonna learn about the solar wardens now.
The space race ended in the 70s, and life started slowly going back to normal for the world. Or did it? Was this the moment that the actual Star Trek future we were promised actually began? We could just dismiss this as a conspiracy theory, right? Well, we could, only if the evidence for the secret space program wasn't as overwhelming as it is. Top secret documents.
Secret space programs, guys. Secret space programs. You know you love it.
Testimonies, diary entries from ex-presidents, and yes, the pictures of the whole thing are quite hard to push to the side. This is the UFO Lab, and I hope you're ready for this because this is a wild one. This episode is about the solar warden. Starting this episode without mentioning Gary McKinnon wouldn't be right. I made a video on him and I'll have it linked at the end of this video, but for
Well, I mean, that's the one we just watched, so yeah. It was kind of a preamble.
those who haven't watched it, here's a summary. In 2001, Gary McKinnon, a British hacker, decided that he couldn't wait for the release of information regarding the UFO phenomenon, and he spent the next year sifting through some of the most secure facilities in the US looking for proof of alien life. What he found weren't exactly aliens, but it was something as amazing, if not even more so. He found an Excel sheet. Not as amazing as you thought, right? You'd be wrong to think so, because the document contained lists of non-terrestrial officers and
Secret Space Force. It's a secret space force.
transfers in between the shifts. McKinnon didn't stop there. After finding this, his curiosity was eating him up, and that's when he started searching through NASA's computers. To be specific, he got into the Building 8
I think his first language is like a Scandinavian language. Is why he has that weird kind of inflection. I shouldn't say it's weird, but like that distinct, I guess I'll say, inflection of the way he talks.
systems, as he was aware of Donna Hare's testimony in which she stated to have seen untampered satellite photos which show clear UFOs in them. Her testimony was the reason he knew he would find the pictures he was looking for in the Building 8. Soon after getting into these computers, he found a folder that contained what he was looking for. There was one titled Unprocessed Images, and when he opened it up, he saw pictures. He tried downloading
Pictures of your mom.
the image, but it was too large, so he opened it. It was loading slowly, line by line, but after waiting for a while, he saw the image we would all love to see. He caught himself looking at a cylinder-shaped ship. The image I'm showing you right now is a recreation.
So that looks a little different than the one he showed in the last video. The last one had the little knobby parts here in the middle, right? Like up here. Now there's two of them and they're on the ends. This is the solar warden ship, though.
Of what he saw. His excitement wouldn't last too long, however, as the mouse started moving and he was disconnected in seconds. That's the moment he knew he was caught. If you want to find out what happened to him, watch the video in the corner. The secret space program has been kept under wraps, but those secrets have been leaked.
Secret space program, secret space dildo.
For the past 50 years. There even was a confirmed secret military space program called the Man Orbiting Laboratory, or MOL. It was so secret that even the wives of the people involved couldn't know about it. This program
Is that like the ISS predecessor, maybe?
was cancelled by the then President Richard Nixon, but as it seems to be the case more often than not, this program was just pushed deeper into the Black Ops side of operations. In 2012, a breadcrumb was leaked on the WikiLeaks website that contained information that sounds insane.
But it sounds like maybe it was just like the concept for a space station, an orbiting space station, which we do have.
I'll leave the link to the document in the description below, but as you can see, it's a report that Russia destroyed the secret US base on the moon all the way back in...
Whoa. Nice. Let me see here. Reports that the UR destroyed secret US base on moon. Canonical ID. Unclassified. Bureau of European and Eurasian Affairs. Congressional correspondence. Cheryl P. Walter declassified, released in 2012. This document is not an electronic document, therefore the full content is not available online. However, some metadata has been made available, which you can use for your research and FOIA purposes, such as Freedom of Information Act. Interesting documents. This is what I like to see, though. I like to see actual physical evidence in what we're talking about. So this is 1979. We had a moon base in 79. Okay. John, do you remember a moon base? When did they start talking about moon bases in the 70s? Some of my older peeps in the side chat. Do you remember them talking about moon bases in the 70s? Secret moon bases? Yeah. Okay, in that poll too, I almost forgot.
1979. Something interesting to keep in mind would be that 2 years after this secret base had been destroyed, Jimmy Carter and Leon Brezhnev signed a treaty for disarmament in Vienna. This doesn't make too much sense. It's not like two governments could decide they wanted to play nice all of a sudden. What led them to make peace could be the reason for the creation of the international shield of our planet called the
Ooh, look at that. That's a cool ship. I want a cool ship
Solar
like that.
Warden. Can you guess what it was? Yeah, it was aliens. Ronald Reagan was the 40th president.
Ronald Reagan was an alien. Or I think Nancy Reagan was an alien. So that's why Ronald had an interest in it. That's why she was so famous for her blowjobs.
Of the United States, and he's had a few interesting moments in his career regarding the issue of space. For starters, he was the person that pushed for the Strategic Defense Initiative, or as the media at the time called it, the Star Wars program. SDI would have large space platforms and smaller patrol craft in operation, which would be tasked with monitoring the solar system for presence of unauthorized alien intrusions, and if any were found, defend us.
It's funny because, like, if you look at how things actually move in space, this is not an accurate depiction, and the way that things move is so much weirder and more floatier that I wish that movies and things would actually depict it how a space battle really would be with like kinetic forces, like taking their, kinetic forces with no oppositional forces. Think about that. That's how battles in space would go. People would be... I don't remember any moon bases, said John Hudson. Yeah. I know that Marvin the Martian wanted to blow up the Earth because it blocked his view of Venus.
Against them. This all came up to exist as Reagan was brought up to speed on the alien matter by military experts, and he was determined to keep us safe. Hold up, all this information sounds insane, right? Where are these theories coming from? Well, you'd be surprised to know, but Reagan wrote about all of this in his diaries. In 2007, HarperCollins published a book titled Reagan's Diaries, and in this book we can see what the daily life of the 14th president was like. It's not a regular memoir, rather it's just a list of entries Ronald Reagan kept himself. It's completely normal until we reach the page 334, where on June 11th in 1985, the president wrote this down.
Had lunch with 5 top space scientists. It was fascinating. Space truly is the last frontier, and some of the developments there in astronomy are like science fiction, except they are real.
It's
I
so
learned
funny.
that our shuttle
This is supposed to
capacity
be...
is such that
That's supposed to be Reagan?
we could orbit 300 people.
Now, that number is really interesting, as Gary McKinnon stated that the capacity of the ships he saw were around 300 people. Still not convincing enough? Well, I have no other choice, Evan. I have to show you the pictures. In 2007,
Oh, there's pictures, guys. We've got photographic evidence.
a British amateur astronomer, John Leonard Wolfson, came up with a technique to capture clearer images of bodies in space from his home telescope. He took images in visible, infrared, and ultraviolet spectrum, and he used the clearest takes out of each of the wavelengths and combined them into a final image. His results were amazing. He took photos of the moon and the International Space Station. He even sent these photos to be reviewed, and the experts confirmed that his photos were credible and stunning at that. This is really interesting on its own, but then he started capturing images like these. He started capturing videos and photos of what he thought were stars, but it quickly turned out that these were weird looking.
How does he like know what's going on up there, but not know that that's not a star? I'm not saying that I'm not expecting that anybody knows the names of all the stars or has cataloged them all, but generally when you point a telescope into the sky and it's a certain coordinates, you at this point with a history of astronomy as it is, you kind of know what you're expecting to resolve on that in that lens, right? And if you're seeing something that's anomalous, I mean, I'm not saying that I know what these are, but it could be planes, could be satellites.
Space platform.
I mean, it's clear as he was able to resolve the ISS. I don't see any reason why he couldn't resolve satellites in space.
In magnitudes larger than the International Space Station. These platforms were massive, and even more importantly, they fit the space platforms described in the Solar Boarding project perfectly. His findings started catching some buzz, and that's when he started receiving visits from military enforcers. Not long after that, the
black helicopter time.
Black helicopters started flying over his house, and he even shot pictures and videos of all these encounters. I'm not saying that these were British men in black, but what happened? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one new point. One interesting connection has been made recently.
Is there a UK Men in Black, or are the Men in Black just in general a global organization? I thought they were protectors of the Earth. I mean, solar wardens.
With the testimonies from people like Eric Hacker, electronics specialists that worked as an electrical repairman and fireman on the Polar Research Station in 2010. He recently made a connection between the Quantum Entanglement Research Station and the Solar Warden project. I mean, just listen to what he has to say.
It is a neutrino detector, for sure. It can accomplish its primary purpose. It can also transmit and then provide a multifaceted platform for directed energy weapons systems. These platforms are way more complex than that. They do a lot of things.
What else do they do?
It detects the neutrino.
Hold on. So we've got a Shackleton expedition pin. It says safe like Shackleton's. And then he's got United States, Antarctic, can anybody else read that? Yeah, program maybe? United States Antarctic program. What that says. I can't read the bottom part though. But it's a map with the Antarctica in the middle. And then this seems to be an Antarctic Treaty badge with all the countries that are part of the Antarctic Treaty. It says Scott Sound. Something Scott Sound. Hold on. Scott Sound. Scott Base. Oh, New Zealand's only Antarctic research base. Is that sound or is it south? Maybe it's south. Scott South. Scott South Pole Station. There we go. All right, we found it. Let's see where this guy's. Let's see where this guy's at. Okay, so here's the base. Here's a map of Antarctica. So it's the one right there in the middle, right there. Which means it's like the South Pole Station. Okay. Well, now we know. I'm guessing that's what the rest of that patch says there. That one.
Those that are apparently coming off of the new exotic propulsion systems for either off-world UFOs or reverse engineered stuff on our planet, thus making it basically an air traffic control center for all non-discussed vehicles on this planet. The device is also for faster than light communications, quantum entangled communications at great distance.
Quantum entangled communications. Have you ever heard anything so nonsensical in your life? There is a neutrino detector at the South Pole running for 20 years in various forms. Neat.
In, I guess it was the late 80s or early 90s, Gary McKinnon hacked NASA. And he found that he found the list of the off-world space.
Found the list. He checked it twice. Gonna find out who's off-world at this time. Gary is hacking NASA.
Fleet and the captains of the ships respectively. We have a fleet out there. If we have a fleet out there, we need to communicate with them.
He sees you when you're fleeting. He knows when you're above.
This is that facility.
This very well could be the communication method used to talk to our fleets in space, no matter how far away they might be. And just to tease the next video, this could be the craft they are using to patrol.
Ooh. Or is that a moth? It does kind of look like a moth, though. At least this one over here does. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the antenna and stuff, but yeah. What is this mysterious craft?
Controller system. Let me know in the comments what these craft are called if you already know. There are stories like the one of President Nixon being read on the UFO subject and even taking Jackie Gleason out to see what we had in the locker, so to speak, as well as some wacky characters claiming they have been a part of these programs. The next story might
Yeah, it sounds like you're really putting a lot of stock into these wacky characters, though.
have some merit to it, but people trying to profit from stories like these by making up fiction and selling it as a real story are the reason that this subject has been looked down upon for so long. That's why I tried to compile only the information I deemed credible. In conclusion, I'm pretty sure projects like these exist, and with the ongoing Senate hearings and whistleblowers like David Grush and Eric Hacker, among dozens of other high-profile members of the military, the reality of what is going on around us is slowly swimming up to the surface. The timing of everything.
Right, isn't it? It's nice of the aliens to have the following the FFA regulations, having the flashing lights and everything. It's always convenient.
Makes me question this a little bit, but it's a separate video. Times where these topics were a laughing matter are over and only one question remains. Who are they and where do they come from? And if the stories like these are true, maybe we already know. After all, let's not forget the speech President Ronald Reagan gave at the United Nations General Assembly in 1988.
We often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, Is not an alien force already among us?
This has been the UFO
Oh, Reagan be all like, aliens are here.
Lab, and thank you for staying until the end. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, subscribe to the channel and like the videos. It helps the algorithm show these videos to more people, which would help me make more content like this in the future. I've covered the wide array of topics here, and I encourage you to take a look.
No, if he wasn't, it wasn't hypothetical. He was saying that their aliens are here, Joshua Davidson. They're here. The aliens are among us. And am I one of them? Well, that's none of your damn business now. I want to investigate that. I may be a Plaedian. Or I might be one of those gray guys with like a costume on. Or it could be a reptilian. Like sometimes my eyes might turn yellow and have like split pupil. That'd be spooky. All right, I think there's one more that we wanted to do for this UFO Labs channel, and it was the NASA one. There's the black triangles. Remember the black triangles? This is the one we wanted, though. Right.
NASA's been a leader in space exploration for the past 50 years, and they claim they've been honest and truthful to us with their research, but have they really? Recently they held a panel where they presented a scientific approach to the subject of UFOs and, well, it was something. Their history of covering up evidence stacks up too high against them. Some of that evidence is clear on the faces of the Apollo 11 crew during the press conference NASA held when they returned from the moon. Also, there are statements of the government employees that saw pictures of UFOs before they were airbrushed out. Stay with me until the end because this is just scratching the surface. Now, let's jump in and take a look at all the extraordinary evidence of NASA's UFO cover-up that marked the 20th century. I'm sure all of you know what NASA is, but here's a quick...
So you all thought I was, or you thought I was Victoria, but I'm actually alien. I could be an alien out here observing humans. I believe there are aliens in the Antarctica. I've seen the thing.
Summary. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or in short, NASA, is an organization that was founded on July 29th in 1958. They came to exist as a result of the paperclip operation, where the United States took in over 1,600 Nazi scientists after the Second World War. The leading man out of that bunch was Werner von Braun. He was put in charge of NASA and they started rapidly using the technology there.
It's kind of weird to call him... I mean, some of them were Nazi scientists, like they were actually working for the Nazi party and working for the Nazi government, but some of the scientists were just defectors, weren't they? I mean, they weren't all government people. They were just, I don't know. 1,600's a lot, though.
Acquired to propel us into space. I won't go into details here, but Germany at the time wasn't a stranger to exploring mythic and ancient knowledge that they incorporated into their technology and the...
Well, it depends on which branch you're looking at. Yeah, they did have some esoteric approaches.
General way of life, which would transfer directly to NASA.
We cannot take credit for our record advancement in certain scientific fields alone. We have been helped. And we have been helped by the people of other worlds.
NASA's UFO investigation panel was held on May 31st in 2023, and it was presented as a big step in acknowledgement that unidentified flying objects even exist. This panel started...
And they run... okay, and they don't use UFO a lot anymore. They use UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. And that just means they weren't able to definitively identify what it was. It doesn't mean they don't know what it was. You'll see some of these videos, they do have the blinking lights. Some of the individual videos are literally birds that you can see their wings flapping. But since they could not definitively say, yes, this is, you know, an albatross, or that this is flight 9973 or some shit like that, they had to catalog it as a UAP, even though it was clear that it's a, it's a plane or a bird. Since they can't definitively say this is what it is. Yeah.
Started off strong with bold statements like these.
By holding public meetings like this one, we aim for open and honest dialogue with the public. We recognize that public interest in UAPs is high, and that the demand for answers is strong. Conversations like this one are the first step to reducing the stigma surrounding UAP reporting. Moreover, transparency is essential for fostering trust between NASA, the public, and the scientific community. Not only that, but our commitment to openness is in itself a reflection of NASA's commitment to scientific integrity. As an organization dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, it is NASA's responsibility to be honest and forthright and to follow the science. And by being transparent in our work, we uphold our dedication to science.
Herbie Hancock. Yeah. Somebody's been watching Tommy Boy. Herbie Hancock. Was that Tommy Boy or was that Black Sheep? It's like, it's Herbie. Graham Hancock is the, yeah, is the woo peddler.
Scientific excellence.
It was a little funny, but I was still very excited to hear what they had to say, but as you could have guessed, my hopes were crushed almost immediately as they came to a conclusion that they needed better evidence to continue researching this subject. You would think that NASA would be in the best position to provide such material, but the catch is that they won't investigate unclear footage that hasn't come from an official entity, which is still understandable. However, the footage needs to have at least one reference object such as airplanes or other military equipment. Also, they exclude all potentially classified material.
Look, yes, see the way this is flashing? And drones, oh my gosh, don't get me started on drones. Because with drones, this happened in, it was in September it started, with people in New Jersey where they were testing out commercial drones that were built on government contracts and thus were needed to be kept under wraps, right, while they're testing them. But because it was a good campaign message to get the woo-woo people to vote for Trump, one of his campaign promises was to investigate the UFOs or the UAP sightings over New Jersey, which again, I can't stress enough, was them testing out commercial drones.
So the gimbal, flare 1 and the go fast videos as well all other similar footage is just useless to them. If you want to see a full video on that exact footage, you can watch the video I made on the Pentagon's classified program for investigating UFOs that gave us those videos in the first place. I'll have it linked.
Yeah, we've gone over those ad nauseum. I went over those with Paul Kamish. Yeah, way back in 2021. And then we had, there we go. I'm gonna pull it up here. Okay, so that was, yeah. Oh, it's set to private now. Okay.
On the end screen of this video, but to sum this panel up, they didn't really find anything of substance, and until better footage arises, that will simply be it. This sounds really funny when we consider what Donna Hare said almost 20 years ago. Donna Hare is a former US government contractor that possessed the highest security clearance, or so she thought. She worked
Doom, doom, doom.
Worked for NASA in the 70s as a designer and illustrator, and she was put in charge of making maps for lunar landings. While visiting the photo lab in the now infamous Building 8, Donna was shown a mosaic photo of the moon by a worker there, and he pointed her to look at a round white dot in the picture. Take a look at what she had to say.
And I said, this is really interesting. He explained everything, and then he, with a smile on his face, he said, look over there. And I looked, and in one of the photo panels, I saw a round white dot.
Not a dot.
And at the time, it was very crisp, very sharp lines on it. And I said to him, what what is that? Is that a dot on the emulsion? And then he's grinning and he says, dots on the emulsion don't leave round shadows on the ground. And there was a round shadow at the right angle, at the correct angle. But I looked at him and I was pretty startled because I'd worked out there several years and never seen anything like this, never heard of anything like this. And I said, is this a UFO? And he's smiling at me and he says, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. What I knew he meant was, it was, but he couldn't tell me. So I said, what are you going to do with this information? And he said, well, we always have to airbrush them out before we sell them to the public.
She wasn't the only person with
conspiracy. We're airbrushing out the UFOs.
this exact story, however. Sergeant Carl Wolf had a top secret security clearance as well, and in the 60s he worked briefly in the Lunar Orbiter project for NASA. He was tasked with repairing a malfunctioning piece of equipment used to transfer photographs from the Lunar Orbiter. His testimony is one of the most credible out there, and it's really interesting to me how not many people really talk about it. Take a look at his statement.
My name is Carl Wolf, and I was a precision electronics photographic repairman with a top secret crypto clearance in the United States Air Force. I was stationed at Langley.
Crypto clearance. I want to, like, when I start selling my stuff for cheaper, my merch, I'll call it the crypto clearance.
The Air Force Base in Virginia. In 1965, in mid-1965, I was loaned to the Lunar Orbiter project at NASA on Langley Field. Dr. Colley was in charge of that project. They had problems with a
DK's Dunning-Kruger.
piece of electronic equipment that was bottlenecking their production of photographs. I went to the facility, and when I walked into the facility, there were scientists from all over the world. I was stunned, actually, to see people at a NASA project
humanoid flap, I got it.
from all over the world. That didn't make any sense.
Here's the humanoid flap with my CrypticCorner boobies. Get CrypticCorner t-shirts and tank tops, and you can have CrypticCorner boobies too, with Mothman on your back. Check that out. Got the Mothman. Pretty sweet, huh?
To me initially. I was taken into the laboratory where the equipment was malfunctioning. I couldn't repair it in the dark. I asked to have it removed. A airman second class was in the dark room at that time. I was also an airman second class. I
just watched it back and you couldn't even see Mothman. Let me pull my hair out of the way so you can see it better. Sorry. Actually, we'll do this. Mothman, can you see it now? Okay. Mothman, Mothman. Do, 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 do. And then CrypticCorner on the front. Yeah.
Interested how the whole process functioned, how the data got from the lunar orbiter to the laboratory. Asked the young man if he described the process to me. He did. About 30 minutes into the process, he said to me, in a very distressed way, by the way, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon. And then he proceeded to put photographs down in front of me, and clearly in these photographs were structures, mushroom-shaped buildings, spherical buildings, and towers. And at that point, I was very concerned because I knew we were working on compartmentalized security. He had breached security, and I was actually frightened at that moment.
Enhance your profile, purchase that shirt. Yeah. Everybody do the humanoid flap.
And I did not question him any further. And a few moments later, someone did come into the room. I worked there for 3 more days, and I remember going home and naively thinking, I can't wait to hear about this on the evening news. And here it is, more than 30 years later, and I hope we hear about it tonight. And I will testify under oath before Congress that what I'm saying is...
DK for Donkey Kong.
This was footage from the UFO Disclosure Project press conference in Washington, D.C. that took place in May of 2001. This conference was attended by over 400 high-ranking former military intelligence, government, aviation, corporate, and scientific official witnesses that testified before Congress about their experiences, proving there to be both secret black projects involving highly advanced alien technology and extraterrestrial.
Why would a highly advanced ship be all like tiled like that? That'd be weird. Maybe there's something I don't understand about the alien technology though.
Visitations. If you want to see a full video on this topic, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments below. People talking about these topics on Earth is one thing, however, no matter how amazing their evidence is. But there is a very small group of people who have been in the best position to find the truth out, and that would be the Apollo astronauts.
Oh, now we're going to get into like, oh, here's what
One
Buzz
of the biggest
Aldrin
achievements
said.
in human history was man's first step on the surface of the moon. It all started on July 16th in 1969 when the Apollo 11 crew took off from Cape Kennedy on a journey that would change the world as we knew it. Whole world
Go
stopped as
Apollo crew!
they awaited their return, and you would expect after accomplishing such a great feat for humanity, they would at least have smiles on their faces, right? Well, I'll have a link to the full video in the description below, but these are some of the more disturbing comments they made.
I believe that what this country set out to do was something that was going to be done sooner or later, whether we set a specific goal or not.
Yeah, it's like hard to parse the people who think the moon landing is fake, and then there's people that think that the moon landing was just like the tip of the iceberg, and we have like cities on the moon and stuff. So it takes all kinds.
I believe that from the early space flights, we demonstrated a potential to carry out this type of a mission. And again, it was a question of time until this would be accomplished.
Oh yeah, where Buzz Aldrin punches that guy for accusing him of faking the moon landing.
I just see it as a beginning. Not just this flight, but in this program, which has really been a very short piece of human history. An instant in history, the entire program. It's a beginning of a new age.
These men don't look like people who just accomplished the biggest feat in human history.
How would you look if you just went into to the moon and came back? I don't feel like there's any expectation of any human behavior.
This all comes into play when we remember the code word for alien spacecraft on the moon, which was Santa Claus, and as you'll soon hear, well, just to put it in Apollo 8's crew's words, Santa Claus is real.
Houston, Apollo 8, over. Hello, Apollo 8. Loud and clear. Roger. Please be informed there is a Santa Claus. You're the best one to know.
Going back to the Apollo 11 mission, there was a 3-minute long loss in communication, or was there really? Rumors immediately started spreading to NASA's command center. The rumors were that the Apollo crew had a visual on alien craft watching them. This is very interesting as many...
Well, space is not real, Tsunami, so they're supposed to look like invisible. They look tired, yeah.
Ham radio operators around the world recorded a transcript of what they were talking about in those 3 missing minutes. If this is real, Apollo 11's crew's faces look somber for a reason. This transmission is very hardly verifiable, but if anyone watching this has a real copy of it, please send it to me as I'll be immeasurably thankful.
Yeah, I mean, I could record myself saying shit like that and distort it all messed up and be like, oh, this is official NASA stuff too. Would you believe it if I did that? I wouldn't want you to believe it, and why should I believe this? If you show me like official file documents on it or something, maybe, but not just
for it. Now, astronauts witnessing UFOs in space, and especially on the moon back in the day, has become a regular occurrence, but according to people like Donna Hare, they were silenced with NDAs and threats to their pension funds.
And then some that wanted to talk were threatened. If they talk, they've signed papers not to talk, they have their retirements taken away. I was just overwhelmed with that piece of information because I started asking questions. This particular man was in quarantine with them and was part of their debriefing. He said that a lot of them talked about their experience in seeing these craft follow them. I believe there was 3 on the moon when they landed. And I think, and this is the best of my memory, that the code word was Santa Claus.
It is truly sad that such information would be hidden from the public, and this very well may be the reason for the faces on the Apollo 11's crew.
What are they supposed to look like? I'm serious about that. What is the Apollo 11 crew supposed to look like when they get back?
One funny detail is that since then, all original moon landing tapes have been lost, which makes you rethink how much do we really know about NASA and how much can we trust them? With that said, statements like these
you can't trust NASA.
These are kind of funny to me.
As an organization dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, it is NASA's responsibility to be honest and forthright and to follow the science. And by being transparent in our work, we uphold our dedication to scientific excellence.
We have all seen how NASA cuts the feed from the International Space Station whenever a UFO comes into view, and how they always dismiss any
When
potential
has a
video
UFO ever come into view on the NASA feed? What are you even talking about? Evidence.
As debris, flares in lenses, or some other normal phenomena without much consideration. Luckily for us, there are people like astronaut Edgar D. Mitchell, lunar module pilot of the Apollo 14 lunar landing mission, best known for typing in 80 lines of code to save the entire Apollo 14 mission as it descended to the moon in 1971. He also claimed that top military officials had hidden evidence of potentially alien spacecraft. This man spent his whole life trying to push humanity forward, but he was shunned from the scientific community for the statements he made. And of course, let's not forget the story of the British hacker, Gary McKinnon, a man that is...
Gary McKinnon has to come back. Didn't they start the video with Gary McKinnon? No.
responsible for the biggest digital
This is the lead into the Gary McKinnon episode, which come up next.
military breach of all time, in which he searched for evidence of UFOs on all unprotected computers he could find. What he saw were documents and pictures connected to a whole secret space program called the Solar Warden. These stories are just scratches on the surface of the UFO mystery NASA has been diligently covering up for decades.
Gary McKinnon, it's who we started this segment on. He was the hacker.
So, let me ask you again. Do you really believe they've been honest and truthful with their research with us? Well, I'll let you decide. Gary McKinnon video is coming up soon, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell.
So, yeah, UFO Labs. Gary McKinnon. Like I said, they don't actually have that many videos. You got Pentagon whistleblowers, Pentagon UFO footage, NASA cover-up, Gary's story, Solar Wardens, Black Triangles, Antarctica, which is, I imagine, Operation High Jump. Then you got David Grush and Shadow Government. Yeah, so they haven't put anything out since. I don't know, the channel's kind of small. Have you been to Rocket Buster Boots in El Paso? Most epic cowboy boots in the galaxy. Just wish I had a few thousand to buy a pair. Yeah, I have not been. All right. Oh, you don't know who Ryan Gosling is, Brian? He played Ken in the Barbie movie. All right, so yeah, this has been an alien-heavy episode, but what do you think about the Solar Wardens? Do you think that there was a space station commissioned before ISS or independent from the ISS program that circles the Earth and protects us from alien threats? Do you think there are secret moon bases? What type of military operations are happening in space? Yeah. All right. Yeah, and I want to hear your opinions on it. I want to know what you think. What do you think of these alleged alien invaders? Why is my hair a mess? Do I own a comb? Let me know in the comments down below. All right. Please remember to be kind. Take care. We'll see you next time. All right, my beauties and bees, do not go anywhere. There's one more little segment of the show left. And where's my hairbrush? My hair is driving me crazy is why I'm looking for a hairbrush. It's all frizzy on one side. Oh. Anyhow, yeah, we're going to be popping right over into Bree's Bestiary in just a moment. So don't go anywhere because we're going to be rocking it with some California Condors. You're not going to want to miss out. Condors are great. All right, I'll see you in a minute.
We're talking about is licking toads to get high. Now, for years, various Indians of Central America have ingested the hallucinogenic secretions of toads, but that practice, according to the Drug Enforcement Administration, is against the law. At first glance, the toad does not look like a criminal.
Lick the toad, lick the toad, lick the toad, lick the toad. They call him Narco Toad. On the street, he's also known by his alias, Bufo Marinus. He and his cousin, Bufo Alvarius, are dangerous dudes. They deal in a mind-scrambling substance that defends against intruders. It all comes from a little gland behind the toad's head.
When bitten, the toad secretes a milky white fluid from its parotoid glands that can poison its attacker, making them extremely ill and sometimes causing cardiac arrest.
Watch whatever crap comes on next. Coming up next.
Live from the Hive.
The organization took to their Facebook page last week to caution visitors not to lick the Sonoran desert toad. Don't lick it. If you're wondering why anyone would want to do that, well, let's explain. Apparently, this particular species of toad secretes a psychedelic toxin that leads to hallucinations if ingested, but can also make humans really sick, leaving people incapacitated for up to 30 minutes. Well, the NPS didn't say if a particular incident prompted their public service announcement, but a recent report from the New York Times says there has been an increased demand for the poison recently. Perhaps that's the reason the Park Service felt it necessary to remind visitors not to lick toads.
Ew, gross, man. You okay?
Whoa, everything's so significant. Dude, you gotta try this.
Not even. It's got your germs on it.
Not this end.
Oh, I can see the air. And you know what else?
The hallucinogenic compound of bufotoxin sometimes do create a feeling of airiness or flying and things like that, and we believe that the witches flying around on broomsticks is probably due to the toad component of the witch's brew.
While the psychedelic bufotenine has been detected in dozens of toad species, Bufo alvarius is the only amphibian known to biosynthesize its O-methyl homolog, 5-MeO-DMT. The toad's neck and limbs carry numerous protuberant glands marked by pores through which venom is excreted from subcutaneous lobules that contain the enzyme responsible for biosynthetic conversion of bufotenine to 5-MeO-DMT, in addition to the production of other tryptamines and cardiotoxic steroids.
Ooh, check it out, man. The licking toad. Yeah, licking toad, man. Lick the toad.
The National Park Service says if you see a toad in the wild, keep your tongue in your mouth.
That substance is bitter and foul tasting. It blocks nerve transmission. It can affect the heart. It also can get you high.
Nothing. Here we go. Yeah.
Homer?
Huh?
These are crystallized secretions from a toad. A substance like this killed 4 people in Australia last year. In fact, possessing the secretion with intent to use it to get high is a federal offense.
In order to do any legal action against a person, we'd have to prove drug intent, that you, like conspiracy to lick a toad or conspiracy to sell a toad to lick or something of that sort.
Anything yet? Are you sure you're licking right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's supposed to pack an awesome buzz.
If you want to get one of these toads, forget it. The zoo tells us that Bufo marinus is restricted in California. The toad has been introduced in places like Florida, and it's done a lot of damage there. It's also a potentially dangerous toad, and certainly one you would never want to lick. Sylvia?
Never.
Ever. Ever.
No.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Bree's Bestiary, where I pick an animal from the animal kingdom and just talk about it because I want to. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we are looking at one of the largest birds in the world. We are looking at the California condor. Now, the California condor is significant because it's sort of a holdover from the megafauna of the Ice Age, right? They are megafauna disposal units, so they like where there's big animals that they can eat. Luckily, in California, they were able to hold out a niche for themselves because they were close enough to the coast to eke out a living off coastal refuse as well, for thousands of years, until, we came in as a Western society and decided to push them to the brink of extinction. But the good news is they're coming back, and I thought we would just do a little breakdown of some different condor videos and talk about them. Check this out. This is their little cage thing here. And that one's getting to go free. Yep. Go free, little condors. Little condors. Giant condors go free. Oh, that's so cool. They're so massive.
And there's this tonight. Giant California condors are considered a critically endangered bird species, but they seem to be flocking to one woman's home. About 15 to 20 of the giant birds have recently taken a liking to Cinda Mickles' home in Tehachapi. Mickles' granddaughter has been sharing photos of the rowdy guests on Twitter.
They party hard. Look at that. Knocking plants over, tearing stuff up. Condors party hard.
The birds have trashed the deck, and these massive birds have left their calling cards just about everywhere.
Yeah, this cage is an aviary, for sure.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says the house is in the historic condor habitat and suggests that Mickles try harmless hazing, like shouting and clapping or perhaps spraying the birds with water to get them to go away. Just a few hundred of these birds, these majestic California condors, are left in the wild, and most of them seem to be at the Mickle household.
Here's just some flying. Amazing flying. I think they're amazing birds. I like how they like soar and don't, like once they get up there, they don't even hardly flap their wings at all. They got soaring. And they can ride air currents, which is like super cool.
It is the largest land bird in North America, the California condor. The vultures are endangered, but a program led by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is trying to save them.
Our KTLA's Chip Yost traveled to a wildlife refuge near Bakersfield to see what's being done.
So we have 4 condors kind of circling over the hillside across the valley from us.
At the Bitter Creek National Wildlife Refuge, about 35 miles southwest of Bakersfield, an amazing recovery story is underway. The California condor, once speeding towards extinction, is making a comeback.
We are seeing gains in the population. We are seeing condors breeding in the wild and pairing up and finding their own food and doing everything that they need to do.
I like her whole vibe too. She got the hat, but she's got her nose pierced and she's got her dangly earrings. Yeah. Hi, I'm Bree. What's your name? Fish and Wildlife Service girl.
To be successful.
With a 9.5-foot wingspan, the California condor is the largest land bird in North America. But at one point in the 1980s, worldwide, there were only about 24 of them known to be left in the wild. So that's when a decision was made to try and capture them. In 1987, the last known California condor living in the wild was captured on this hillside and put into a captive breeding program in an effort to save the species. This is video of that last condor as it was taken away.
So we are coming into a back area of our Condor Ridge habitat.
For a time, that condor wound up here at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, which, along with the LA Zoo, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and other organizations, is part of the California Condor Recovery Program. It was here where we met Moloko, who in 1988 became the first condor in the world to ever be bred and hatched in a zoo.
She helped alleviate a lot of the fears that a California condor couldn't be bred in a zoo. After 1988, when she hatched, LA Zoo, and we had more and more success.
So this is Sola's egg, first egg of the season.
Artificial incubation combined with other techniques have helped increase reproduction.
As big as an emu egg.
Rates. As more California condors from the program are released to the wild, they're also reproducing naturally. Today, there are more than 500 condors worldwide, about half living in the wild. But some of the same problems that led to their demise in the 1980s are still threatening the condors now.
About 50% of the known causes of death can be attributed to lead poisoning.
Since California condors are scavengers, they love feasting on carcasses left by hunters.
Who doesn't love feasting on carcasses? Feasting on carcasses is our goblin rights.
But when those hunters use lead ammunition, the condors can ingest it. That's one of the reasons a new California law took effect in 2019, banning hunters from using lead ammo.
So that's an adult. You can see the red head.
The hope is that law, combined with all of the other efforts being made, will one day allow the California condor population to soar on its own. At the Bitter Creek National Wildlife Refuge, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you for that coverage. Now let's watch this condor steal this sheep from an eagle. There's a condor up there, too. This condor is going to be like calling in his homies, though. They straight up told that eagle to fuck off. Look at him. Now, that one come down from the tree to stop him too. Hold on, I'm gonna go back and watch that again. So this is like a golden eagle right here, right? Got a condor back there, condor there, condor there. Another condor comes in from here, another condor right there. No, it's like the eagle killed the sheep. I doubt the eagle killed the sheep. It looks like the sheep's been dead for a while. The way it's jellying. But look how many condors show up. And that one goes to chase the eagle off. There's even more coming up over there. Look at that. Were the rest of them waiting for the eagle to be done? Condors in Utah. What?
The California condor is one of the world's rarest birds.
True.
Today, there are only about 300 of them in existence. At one time, they may have ranged across much of the continent. There's evidence that they ranged west of the Rocky Mountains from British Columbia to Baja and across the southern U.S. to Florida. And there are even fossils that place them in New York State. Due to the settlement of the country, their habitat slowly shrank until by the 1940s they were limited to 6 counties in California just north of Los Angeles. By 1987 there were only 22 birds in the world, all congregated in the mountains above Santa Barbara. These birds were captured and placed in a captive breeding program. Today, the number has increased to just over 300 birds. About half of them are free flying, with the remainder remaining in the captive
this was
breeding
15 years ago. It's 561 now.
program. The free flying condors are in 3 populations in California, Baja, and northern Arizona. The condors that spend the summers in southern Utah are from the northern Arizona flock. Condors are one of the largest flying birds in North America. Their body can be from 45 to 55 inches long. They may weigh more than 20 pounds with a wingspan of over 9 feet. The young of the year have dull black feathers with a dull black or gray head with no feathers at all. As they mature, the skin of the head gradually turns yellow, orange, and red. The transition is complete in about 7 to 8 years. These birds are strict carrion eaters. They use their great wings to soar effortlessly for hours in search of food. Condors mate for life and normally nest only every other year. Eggs are laid directly on the ground, usually in a cave or large overhang on an expansive cliff. They hatch in about 56 days, and the young birds fly about 5 or 6 months later. The parents tend the young birds for more than a year from fledging.
Which is why they only lay eggs every 2 years.
Site in southern Utah probably represents the best opportunity to view California condors in the wild. Over 30 birds have been seen frequently near the road just 4 miles south of Kolob Reservoir. The future certainly looks better for the condor today than it did in the late 80s. They still walk a very thin line as they face survival challenges from such things as predation and lead poisoning. Hopefully the future will continue to brighten for this magnificent vulture through the efforts of federal and state wildlife agencies and private interests such as the Peregrine Fund.
We're going to watch one take off. This next video. It's short, but number 8's going to fly. Along the Santa Barbara coast.
Okay, you know how big these birds are? Their wingspan is 9.5 feet. Wow. 9.5 feet, that's 2 feet longer than eagle's wings. Anyway, biologists are celebrating the rare occurrence of 2 endangered California condor nests in southern Utah. Really wonderful. One nest was discovered near Angel's Landing in Zion National Park. The other is located just east of the park on Bureau of Land Management land. Condors nest in very remote places on vertical cliffs, and they only nest when they're going to have young. They do not like to be disturbed at that point, so having 2 nests in Utah is a huge deal.
We have fewer than 200 condors in the wild in this population right now.
Again, this is older stuff.
Increments of 2 and 3 and 4 are, it's a big year. It's a good year for them. So that's great to see.
In the 1980s, there were only 22 California condors left in the wild. 22. Although this species is seeing some amazing growth, experts say it will still take many years of conservation efforts to see them taken off the endangered species list.
Such an interesting bird and amazing wingspan there.
Now they're going to be like, oh, well, so since Colossus can bring back the dire wolf, shut the fuck up. Shut up right now.
America's largest bird, the California condor, has been pushed to the edge of extinction, but is making a big comeback. 40,000 years ago, the California condor was found throughout the entire continent and slowly pushed westward until they only occupied a sliver of the west coast. By 1982, only 22 birds remained. All wild California condors were captured for a captive breeding program, and in 1995, condors were re-released into the wild. The program has been extremely successful. By 2011, there were more California condors in the wild than in captivity. Today, 500 condors soar the skies, and that's how.
So the California condor was pushed to the brink of extinction when there were only 22 birds left in the world. Imagine that, 22. And this was because of pressures put on by human activities. The condor dates back to the Pleistocene. So some of the animals that have been talked about today that lived in the...
We probably won't watch this whole TED Talk. I just wanted to just punctuate how de-extinction can work. Like, I know condors weren't extinct, but they were right there. And on the brink, like we have seen other animals fall off that brink. We've seen, the northern white rhino, for instance, has fallen off that brink. We have seen dozens of birds in the last few years from Hawaii, dozens of indigenous birds from Hawaii, endemic indigenous birds from Hawaii have fallen off that brink. So to be able to see one, even one, is a cause for celebration to make some kind of recovery. Even though less than 1,000 animals is still, is that a recovery? Or is that a glamour project for humans to feel better about themselves? Not that I'm against this at all. We should definitely keep going. There are so many species that we need to focus on bringing back.
Today, Harlan's giant sloth, the American mastodon, the saber-toothed cat.
Yeah, so that gives you an idea of what time frame that these creatures came from, right? Okay, so, yeah, that's been Bree's Bestiary, the extinction of the California condor, a success story that should get more of a spotlight than creating genetically modified Game of Thrones wolves and calling them dire wolves. Just my opinion. But you give your opinion down below. What do you think? And yeah, please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, so live from the Hive, friends. Yeah, it's been a day. I'm glad everybody was able to find their way over eventually. We started off kind of slow this morning. That's all right, but it's discouraging sometimes. It's okay though. Anyway, it is a long weekend for me. Hopefully things start to go smoothly. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the future holds, but I will be around. All right. Please be kind. Take care. We'll see you next time.